Good morning, today 131. Let's have a quick look at today. Nothing changes from the night before, as always. Let's have a look what we've got to do today. So today we definitely need to be looking at boxing in this beam, getting that poured. Door frames and window frames have all been installed on here, but they've got to be finished off. We still have the back window and the side window, the main window and door, and we've still got to box in and pour this column, so there's still work to be done on that. The main thing at the moment though is focusing on getting the drainage done so we can actually get the mud spread, so we can actually create a little bit more space, because now we're creating a bit of an issue where workload's concerned. So we need to get the drainage sorted out from the plumber who came in last night and finished some of it. As you can see, it's now connected into the house, and it's now, some of it's coming into or in and around where it needs to go. That needs to be rectified. That needs to be 245s and then going straight down, so I'll have a word about getting that sorted. We need to obviously connect around the corner to this well, and this well down to this one, and this one to this one, and once that's done, then we can potentially look at sorting out the footing here. That one's near on done. And we can look at backfilling in and around some of this. Obviously we've got to be careful still, because down there's still doorways, but yeah, we can get some of that mud down. As I showed you last night, the septic is actually in, but obviously now we've got to get that set up properly, we've got to get that connected up. The walls that can be taken to height have been, but the beams need to be built here, so this needs to be a 24-inch beam, a 2-foot beam here, all the way around the little bathroom area here and down the hallway, because that's going to house the actual the roof, the garage roof, which is one big concrete slab. Again, showed you last night briefly, but in the house, the window frames and door frames have been installed, which is good. These still need to be finished off today. That needs to be removed. They love taking things apart, just leaving crap everywhere. As you can see, formwork. And that's one thing I would say that, you know, over here is a little bit frustrating compared to England. There doesn't seem to be housekeeping, good people looking after the site before they start and after they leave. It just seems to be, well, however you leave it is how it's left. That's one thing they do need to sort out, especially when it comes down to the rebar guys, because everything they're actually cutting off, as you can see, is cable work. And this stuff on the sea just rusts, and it's not meant to be on a finished floor, so it just rusts and leaves stains everywhere. So they do need to get that that side sorted out, that's for sure. Again, scaffolding, no wheels put on, so obviously they're going to drag that along and scratch the floor. It's just a few things like that are a bit frustrating. Me personally, this would be like a bloody dinner plate. It's got to be absolutely immaculate. Again, another one like scaffolding tower, no wheels. But anyway, let's not moan. It might be worth getting the labourers up here, just do a bit of maintenance, try and get things quite clean at some stage today. What's today's goal? Today's goal is obviously we've got to work with the steel benders to get the beams put in and the starter bars extended. All the starter bars need to be extended. As you can see, they're roughly 2 feet now. They need to be extended up to the roof height. So we're at 8 foot now. They're about 2 foot, and we're going to about 13 feet. So they've got to use that 2 foot to extend. So they've got to go up by another 5 feet. So they need to extend all of the actual starter bars by 5 feet all the way around. And in an ideal world, they fit the beam first. And then do the starter bars afterwards, for argument. There's the one beam installed. As you know, that was done Friday, Saturday. All of those beams now need to be extended. Now, they're all fine. They're fine. That one there doesn't even have enough height on it. So you're meant to have at least 2 foot in order to extend one of the steels. And as you can see, all of those down there are too short. So another thing that an engineer has a fit on, but rebar guys and construction guys in general don't really care. But yeah, you're meant to be, obviously you're tying 2 pieces of steel together, so there has to be enough steel to make the extension work. I don't know if you guys know, but when you're doing some form of overhang on a roof, for argument's sake, if you wanted to go out 3 foot, you've got to have 6 foot backwards. So it works on the third, 2/3 principle. It's very similar to this to a certain extent. You're looking to extend up by 5 feet, then technically you need to have at least 2 feet below. So that's how it works, but here for some unknown reason they don't seem to do that. So the engineer did pay a visit on Friday, and he did see a few things, and he was like, I'll be having a word with the steel bender company about this, because he knows them. So yeah, here absolutely fine here. Look, so they've extended them all at height, no problems at all. So again, we've got the 8-inch beam that will go all the way around, 1.5 smocks at the bottom, 1.5 smocks at the top. Then it needs to be boxed both sides and poured, and we've got to do that across everything. So at the moment, all we've done so far is the front of the house, and even then it's just the outside boxing, and the inside extensions haven't been done. So they need to be extended all the way along. The inner boxing needs to be put on, but because we've actually got the window boxes in and we've got the frame in, it's just now just the extension of the bars and the inner box. That's ready to pour. But we've got to do that around the whole building. So this building here, the building we're in, everything needs to be taken to height. That's nearly where it needs to be now. So that's probably one of the remaining walls that was due to be done. So that's near on at height. And then we could do the same thing on that one as well. So yeah, at the present time, we're pretty much where we need to be on everything. So yeah. Yeah, so it's literally getting the main beam here sorted out, getting the one at the front sorted out. If we can get carpenters, we need to get the carpenters to actually box in all of the beams. So again, the guys can start pouring those. And we need the rebar guys absolutely mullering this top part so we can get the carpenters boxing up. We were meant to have all that done by Sunday. So we're now on Tuesday. So that's 2 days overdue already. And obviously this over here is taking quite a lot of the priority at the moment. So we need to get that sorted as well so we can actually get off of it and stop spending labour on it. So, but in order to do that, we've got to get some of the bits finished so we can actually backfill. But today, the guys will be pouring the actual footings down here. They'll be pouring the footing in here at some stage, but what we need to do is there's a 3-inch drain going in here, so we need to get that sorted out. So the 45, get that straight in to make sure that doesn't cause any problems. Then we need a 3-inch drain in there as well that will also go down that neck of the woods. So that needs to be sorted first, then they can pour the footing like they've done here. That will become the actual footing that the actual block walls will be built up on to try and, obviously the steps will go down into that part. And then this will have block walls up that will actually hold the steps that come up to here. They've got to finish off treating the steel. As you can see, they started treating some of it yesterday. And then they got to here and it stopped to orange, black. Need to get those sorted out. There's a few other steels as well that need to be treated out. I mean, those that they've actually just drilled in, we need to get those treated because they're obviously ones that have been laying around. So we need to get those done as well. And they've got plenty of steel here that they can extend up from, but again, it's quite short now, so I don't know if they can actually use any of that. So other than that, it's from yesterday really. It's just trying to get the guys with a plan. So we're currently supervisorless on site. Obviously there's my supervisor on site, but he's not here to run the job. So I need to talk to him about whether he's got a supervisor yet or not. We need somebody that's going to come and drive this job whilst he's not around, if he can't be around. Let's say he, the person that owns the construction company, he's clearly obviously got other jobs on at the moment and can't be here all the time. First thing, he's got to get materials and everything else. So it's just making sure that he's got the relevant support on site to push the job whilst he's not around. And trust me, people do need to be managed. And they also need to be set goals for the day. So if there's no goal, then they're not going to know if they're achieving. So that's one thing we definitely need to try and grab hold of today if we can. So today's another day. I'm going to go and work with the site manager now to make sure the plan's understood. And let's see if we can try and make some traction today. 12 p.m. Let's have a quick look what's been done. So driveway at the moment we're excavating out here, which is the whole amount, so we can actually get a little bit of compacted marl in there and also blinding. This is where the from this wall here to that, probably where that spike is there will be like a little recess here where the garbage will be held, and also the electric and water mains meters will be in there as well. And then the driveway itself will carry along here to about here, and then have the electric gates in there. As you can see, the walls over there left behind pretty much come straight through, so they're preparing that now. And obviously then down the actual side of the building, obviously we need to remove a lot of the shit down there, but that's where obviously the sewage will carry on the way down. So we're also going to excavate out down there later as well. Oh, it's already been dug out. So yeah, there you go. So you've got the exit, that's been taken out, ready for the sewage to come past the front of the house as well. Cement mixer's off for once. It's normally going all day. The guys have just gone to lunch. So let's have a quick look what they've done down here. So down here today, the excavator's been busy. Pipes now been put in. We need to prop those up so they don't have a sag in the middle. The upstairs drain pipe's been run through into this manhole. They're obviously blocking up the steps for the wall for all the steps. The drainage has been put into here. Not too sure what that is. That might be the 3-inch. They've actually changed that drain now, 45 degrees, which is good. That's now straight. Exactly how it should have been done in the first place. Pretty sure this will be the 3-inch drain that will take the water in, and that will feed into the well as well. And they've also finished the other part over there as well, which is good. They need to obviously still run this piece down to here and then they connect these two together. Nice to see you got that sorted out, Wayne.
Pardon?
Good to see you got that sorted.
Yeah.
3-inch drain plus the 45s. It's good. That's for upstairs. If we ever do upstairs, if we ever have an upstairs room, that will be the waste that will come into here. And they just need to prop up the middle to make sure there's no sag in the middle here. You need to make sure that's propped up in the middle as well, so it doesn't have a sag. So other than that, that's good. Got the 3-inch drain in as well, and then we're ready for the footings. So now that they're finished, then they'll literally widen this off. These footings will be dug out across here and then back over, and that eventually will end up being like a doorstep here and then steps coming up. Same as here. Huh? Okay, no worries. And obviously these steps will end up, the wall will come up the same level with these, but obviously these ones will go down and these ones will go up. So that's there. So let's have a quick look upstairs. So up here, what we've done up here today, so there's been some changes. We've got the column that's actually been installed and gone up. We've got some of the walls put to height. And we've got some of the boxing taking place and some starter bars going in. So if I show you what's going on. The main beam itself, as we saw yesterday, the little stumpy one, is now grown out the ground. 10 times better. Straighter in the actual dimensions themselves, obviously where they need to be. Rebar cable bloody everywhere, but that's rebar guys for you. They're just making a start on the front column as well. You can see some of the actual tie rings going around as we speak. The door frames here were in anyway. This one's been taken to height, so we're now 12 courses on this little support mechanism going through the building. What else? We've got the beam being stored here. So this beam here, I've been told, is actually separate to the beam that will go on the roof. This is to tie the walls together. This goes around the whole building 8 foot and ties everything and is concreted in to 12 inches. But there will be another one going in around about 3 foot higher than that will tie the roof. So as you can see, the inner boxing's going in. The downside to that is the rebar guys have taken so long to get the starter bars done that the carpenters just carried on boxing in. So now the rebar boys, as you can see, some extensions being done here. They're now having to put starter extensions in, but they're having to do it with box work, which is now going to make their job 10 times more difficult. Also, scaffolding with no wheels on for some unknown reason. Wheels come off here onto my polished floor, which is driving me nuts, but that's another matter. What else? Try not to fall down the hole. We've got the boxing up taking place here. The beam here is left open because obviously we've got to connect that and take that along here, but it can't be done until that's boxed up, that's tied and boxed up. They're both poured, and then it will come straight across. But obviously this has to be extended up to the height that it needs. So these are obviously very high anyway, as you can see. So this needs to be extended before it's boxed up anyway. And then that gets poured to at least 8 foot, and obviously then the beam will come across and tie in. What else? I'll show you the columns, because I did show yesterday, but let me show you a little bit more detail where the columns are concerned. So they did, unfortunately, not listen and cut out more than they needed to. But as you can see, they've re-drilled and re-epoxied these bars back in again. All of them are very tall, obviously, and all of them are moved a little bit because of the weight. You're going to have to bend those a little bit and move them, and then get them all tied back in again, and then we just need to extend the conduit up relevant to where it's going. This one, same thing, conduit extension and rebar extension. This side's finished off. So up here within reason, spare wheels everywhere. And one thing we just noticed, which is, I suppose, a simple mistake to make to a certain extent, but we have 8 windows going on this wall, 2 3-foot and 6 2-foot. But when you stare at this one here, this is definitely wider than 2 foot. So for some unknown reason, that's been blocked up in the wrong size. So I think what happened is where it was originally meant to go, there was a bit of conduit, so the line was left on the floor, and then we decided to move the window to try and miss the conduit, and the original one is left as well as a new one. So I think that's now gone wider, as you can see, 2 foot and whatever that's meant to be. So we're gonna have to look at that, because it's not meant to be that wide, and it does now mean that they're gonna have to try and repair that with blocks somehow, which will probably end up looking something very similar to this. It'll have to be boxed up and poured, very similar to that one there. So anyway, minor mistake, but minor mistakes can definitely cause pain on the job. Other than that, what we're aiming to potentially do is to finish this side here, get that boxed up, that side and that side on the end, and make sure all of the starter bars are done all across the front, and start pouring from here all the way down, all the way across the front. And as and when we start going down, we can start taking the boxing off and boxing up other areas. Because at the moment, we don't want to be going and buying more 4x2s and more formwork. We've got loads downstairs, but we can't use it because of the time that it's got to cure for. But we need it up here as soon as possible. So we're going to have to literally save time and money by running it around. And as we follow the actual guys and pour after the guys, then we can take off and start putting on at the front. So robbing Peter to pay Paul. But we've got to do this wall. We've got to do that wall over there. We've got to do this. We've got to do this middle wall. It's all got to be done. So it just enables us to do it without having to buy any more wood and formwork. As it is, I'm going to have a considerable amount for sale towards the end of this job. So if anybody wants any, let me know. I have plenty. So anyway, other than that, that's it for today. So I'll give you an update as and when we proceed throughout the afternoon. 4:20. Turning back to see what the guys are up to. Everyone seems to be busy. Hey, how are you? Boxing taking place in the middle of the wall. Some views. Got around the other side as well. Let's have a quick look around the other side, see if the boxing's finished. Yeah, boxing obviously still where it is. Obviously we've got that column to come across, which is absolutely fine. So they've got the boxing on the outside. The starter beams need to be done on that before we go up. As you can appreciate, if those starter beams go up before they put it on, that's going to be a difficult one. Starter beams are all done across there though, which is good. So that's ready to be poured up there. Just need to sort out that door frame though, window frame. Where are we around here? So I don't know if there's anything that's taking place here. Let's have a quick look over the edge. How are we getting it down here? Bit of backfill going on. Heard that quite well sprawled up in the air. Backfill going on here as well. So in here has actually been cleaned out as well. Actually looks a little bit, still a bit of concrete in here, but it looks 10 times nicer. Might get away with doing it in the first place anyway. Anyway, let's have a look down the side. So the main manhole down there is obviously being tanked out, ready for the grease trap. Backfill obviously going on down here. The connection still needs to be made between there and here. I assume, wrong to assume. Oh no, obviously this one's going to be over ground. So this one will be connected above ground down to this one. So hopefully all the pipes have been supported up, because there's a lot of weight on those pipes. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. I'm not too sure where we are with the septic over there as well. Let's have a quick look. Can't Can't really tell from here whether the septic's been covered over or not. I wouldn't have thought so, because the drainage still has to be taken from here straight over. There needs to be another manhole dug over here, and then the pipework from that will come all the way down to the septic tank. So I assume that hasn't been done yet. But now he's actually finished that off there, then he can start digging out the main pipework for that. This one's in. Hopefully they've supported that as well. Very mindful, they're standing all over it. It's a dangerous thing to do. There should be no standing going over that at all. If anything, that should be blocked up and with a lid on it. But anyway, anyone any comments in there as to how that should be done, let me know. But that should be concreted and blocked underneath in a number of different places. I would say probably there, there, and there. And then there should be some form of block work going over that to ensure that's protected. I would assume it would be the same with these ones down here as well. Again, as you can see, the height underneath that. So it's a large run, so it should be supported there, there, and here somewhere. And then potentially some form of framework over the top of it to just make sure it's protected. But anyway, here is very, very different. So we've had more stone delivered. Guys are obviously working on the driveway itself. Let's have a quick look at the driveway. So far we've obviously had this dug out here, ready for the pipework to come through here. And we've had the main piece over there dug out earlier, as we explained. That's obviously so that we can actually have the garbage part put in. The blinding is down there for the actual manhole itself as well. So quite a bit done where that's concerned. The mud has been taken off the road as well, which is all in the road. How are you? So let's have a quick look, see if there's anything done where the septic's concerned. How's it going, guys? All good?
Everything good?
Yeah, good, buddy, good. Let's have a look up here. So septic, I wouldn't have thought it's been touched yet because it's not ready to. Yeah, so it's been covered over with a bit of sand, waiting for the remainder to go in. I wouldn't have thought anything's happened over there with the suckwell either. So once this is actually levelled off and pushed over a little bit, then they can start digging out down here, all the way along here, up to the manhole here. Put a manhole here, dig that way to the manhole, and that way to the main front of the house. But again, this level here that we're at the moment is not far off where it should be, believe it or not. So we're nearly road level. So now that you're up here, it's not so bad. It's when you get down to there and you realise that next door's wall, the height of it is just there. So by the time we get down there, we're not going to have much of the wall. We're going to be peering over, so we'll look at something, a solution there for them. Last thing I want to be doing is staring at us every day. So yeah, my main concern is just making sure that pipe's in and it's protected to ensure that it doesn't get crushed from above, and also it can't move down below, because as soon as you start getting a banana shaping waste pipe, as the old saying says, shit rolls downhill. So, alright Tyson, how are you? Good. So other than that looks like it's it for today. So they're still going to continue, obviously. I've got to shoot off in a minute, so they're going to do another hour, I would have thought, and then that'll be it for day 130. So see you tomorrow.